All right, so Paratext 9. Anybody using it yet? Played around with it? Okay. So we're basically just going to cover some of the newer user interface elements and then the enhanced resources. So Paratext was released, 9 was released in October, last October. And the big thing is it's compatible with Paratext 8. So you can have, so that means the whole team doesn't have to upgrade at the same time. Some people can use 8, some can use 9. Consultants can use 8 or 9 on the same project. And 8 and 9 can be installed on the same computer at the same time, but don't run them at the same time on the same computer with the same project, okay? Because they use the same underlying files. So you'll step on yourself, step on your own toes if you run them at the same time. So, but you can have them installed on the same computer at the same time. I've done that, or I have that. And then there's a couple of URLs where you can get some additional training if you're interested. I can give you that later. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let's see. How do I get back into the full mode? Okay, is that sharing now? Okay. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so we're basically going to cover the improved user interface and menuing system, the new file open dialog, the new windowing types, and enhanced resources. There's also something called, we're not really going to cover, but USM version 3 is supported. It's basically just an additions to USM version 2. So when I said that you can use Paratext 8 and 9 in the same project, there's one caveat to that, right? Is that if you start a new project in Paratext 9 and you choose USFM 3, which Paratext 8 doesn't support, then everyone needs to use Paratext 9 on that project. Okay, but if you're coming from a Paratext 8 project, then everybody can use both with no question. Okay, so the new window types, we'll go over that, and then enhanced resources. Okay. Okay, so the menus have changed quite a bit. There's now a global menu at the top, and I'll show you all this. And then each window has its own menu. So like in Paratext 8, you had to click on the project window first, right? Make sure you had the right project selected, then go to the top menus and do like project settings and stuff. If you had the wrong window selected, then you're doing the wrong thing. You're doing what you want to do for the wrong project usually, and that is confusing to people. So, okay, so let's take a look at some stuff here. Let me see if I have this. Okay, so the global menu at the top left. I think I'm going to need to unmaximize this, yeah. Okay, so here's the top of Paratext 9. So now you can see at the top left here, you've got the hamburger menu, which is the hamburger icon, sorry, which is the global menu. And when I click on that, so these menu options are global, basically, for not project specific. So you've got file open, send receive, general Paratext settings, the windowing options, help, and that kind of stuff. So now the default is, I think the default is to only display the more commonly used options. Like, so you can see here, there's only 5 or 6 items on the left here. But when I click this arrow here at the bottom of the menu, then it will open up and show everything, okay? Now, if you want everything to always display, then you check full menus under help over here. And now, when I go back in, everything's displaying, and you can see this icon at the bottom here is now the other way, the up arrow. So if I click that, it goes back to the minimal menu just temporarily, because full menus is still selected. So if I go back here, it should show everything. Yeah. So basically, I think it will start out without the full menus. This is for all the menus, even these smaller ones that we'll take a look at. So same thing here. You don't have the full menus option. That's only in the global menu. But you can click on the little icon at the bottom there to see everything. So if you can't find something, there's two things you can do. One of them is to click on the little icon at the bottom there to see everything. And then we'll go over the other one in a minute here. So that's the global menu at the top left. And then, okay, so the project level menus, you don't have the problem with the wrong window being selected. And I think they enhanced the zoom option, which we'll take a look at. So each of these sub-windows has its own menu, its own hamburger icon there. So we'll take a look at this one here. So here's the zoom option I was telling you about. The keys still work, like Control plus and Control minus and Control 0 to restore. But now you can just use plus and the mouse right in here. You can also type right into here the percentage that you want. So I think that's been improved a little bit. So these are the project-specific menu items, and the item specific for this window. It's not a project. Like it might be the biblical terms window or something like that. So you've got project settings and the different view options, just anything to do with that window. So just remember that that's a separate menu now. Okay, what's next? Okay, we talked about the full menus. The default's not to show all of them. Okay, so then there's an enhanced search option. So when I said that if you're not displaying full menus, if you can't find something, you can click this icon to show everything, but you can also just search for it, which is a great feature, I think. So if I search for, I don't swear, what was the example I used? I don't know, what's something you want to do in Paratext? I can't remember the word. Okay, let's just search for something like marker. Okay, it didn't do anything. Huh? Hey, Karen. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on there. Of course, I've never seen it do this before. Naturally. Why don't I close it and restart it? Yeah, it said searching. Anyway, you can also hit the F1 key to get up to that search box. It's still loading. Okay. Initializing. That's very strange. No, it shouldn't be. I've never seen it. Well, it just brought up the help, but I was wondering if it has something to do with this, all this stuff running.
You do a search for like checks.
Yeah. He's probably gonna do the same thing.
Huh. Well, so you're on We've identified a bug.
I mean, I've never seen it worked every time I did it before, so I couldn't explain what the bug, what's causing it.
Demonstration.
If you're on Zoom
Yes,
and doing a training. Okay, well, what this is supposed to show, what it will show on your computer is it will actually show the menu items at the top that have the word marker in them. So if you can't find something in the menu and you know it's there, just type it in there. And then below the menu items, it will show the help topics that have that in it. So it's a very powerful feature if you can't find something when it works. Okay. Let's go back to here. Okay, yeah, so and then there's keyboard shortcuts for each menu item. So when you hover over a menu item, at the bottom left of the menu down here, it will show you the keyboard shortcut. So I think they put it down there to kind of reduce the clutter of the menus. A lot of times it's shown off to the right there, but once you get good at remembering the ones you use a lot, you won't need to be looking down there. But so you can get the keyboard shortcut just by hovering over and looking at the bottom left of the menu there. I think that's on these menus also. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the file open dialog has been much improved. In Paratext 8, there were multiple different menu options for opening different things depending on what you wanted to open, and it was very confusing for people. So if we do we call it the file open, but it's really just in the Paratext menu here, open. Okay, so this is going to show basically everything. Well, you filter it with these buttons at the top and based on something that you type in over here if you want. So right now, I'm just showing projects because I have that selected. If I click on resources, now it's showing both projects and resources. Now it's also showing enhanced resources, then I can take off projects, so now it's just showing these two. So basically, you get the idea. You can have it show everything if you want. So this is everything that's available to open when you have it there. And then you can also filter by name or language. You can filter by English or, of course, any other language. If I type Thai. That's pretty powerful. Makes it an easier way to find stuff there. And we'll talk about the different types of windows in a minute, but when you are opening anything, you can specify down here at the bottom what type of window you want it to be. And this, initially, some of these can be changed after it's open. So you can make it a floating window, tab, panel, text collection, or auto hide. We'll go over those windows. So just know that that's there. I think the default is either floating or panel. I can't remember what it defaults to, but I think it will come back up as the last one you used. But initially, it's either floating or panel. Let's see, does that cover everything? Oh yeah, there's the sorting also. So the initial sort is by type. This left column here. Oh, still got that turned on. So you can see the type over here on the left, but you can also sort by name just by clicking on the header. It's pretty common these days, full name or language. So that's another way to easily make it easier for you to find stuff there. Okay, so we got the filter buttons at the top, the sorting, and then as you saw, I typed a language name, or you can type anything at the box at the top right. And then at the bottom, you specify the window type if you want. Okay. So that was the open dialog. It's the only open dialog that there is now. There's no other. In Paratext 8, there were a whole bunch of opens here. I think that's the only one. running on time here. Okay, window types. This is panel. The basic ones are panel, floating, tab, and auto hide. And I'll show you some examples of those. Panels are like what you had in Paratext 8. They aren't hidden by other windows, and they resize together within the framework. It's like what you'd think of as a standard Paratext window. Floating windows are basically that they float on top and they're not docked. So that's what you want to use if you want to move something to another monitor. Use a floating window, and you can drag that window to a second monitor. And so by default, floating windows are pinned. They don't disappear behind Paratext. But the one thing to watch out for is so let's open something here. So we'll make this we'll open a floating window here, so you can see here. So I could drag this to my second monitor and just have it available. But now it's pinned. So if I click on any of these Paratext windows in the background, this stays in the front, right? The problem is if I maximize this, it stays in the front and covers the rest of the Paratext windows. So you got to be careful with that. If you drag it to another window and maximize it, that would be fine. But if I maximize it right now, then the only way I can get back to Paratext is probably with Alt-Tab to switch. Or I don't know if I can unpin it. So if I unpin it, okay, so make it always on top. No, so if I unpin it like that, then it will go back behind. Yeah. Let me bring it back. But yeah, so if I pin it and then maximize it, yeah. So now, okay, I can unpin it again. So that's good. But just so you know, if someone's confused and they can't find their Paratext screen, it's possible that they've maximized a pinned floating window like that. So, okay. That's don't maximize it. Okay, so tabs are created by dropping one window onto another, or if you open a window, you can, in the open dialog, you can specify it's a tab. So here we have pretty much one window, but it's got two tabs in it, like that. And so let's say I went on the left side there, I've got two windows, two panels. If I take this top one and drag it onto the one below, now it's a tab window. So now I've got tabs like that. So they're still both there. They're just with tabs, in case if you don't need to see them. Now, another nice feature is there's an undo under the main global menu. Under window, there's undo. So if you're moving windows around and you don't like it, it's like, oh, I don't like what I just did, or how do I get back to where I was? You can do undo, and that'll put it back the way you were. Yeah. Also, when you get, similar with Paratext 8, when you get a layout that you like, you can save it and give it a name. You can give it a name better than layout 1. And get back to that. You can have multiple saved layouts and get back to these. Since I'm talking about it on one of these slides, it is possible to share your saved layouts with other people in a project. So if you're doing send receive with your team, and you create a layout that you think everybody will like and use, then you can send receive that with them, and so then they'll get it and they can use it. And the way you do that is within the project menu. I think it's under project settings. There we go. The last one there, share saved layouts. Because it's in the project menu because that's what you're sending and receiving with your team, right? That project. So you're telling it basically who you want to share this layout with. Everyone on that project. Okay, then auto hide windows are hidden at the far right, and they're ideally suited for something that you just check briefly and don't need to see all the time, like maybe some notes or something like that. So over on the right here, you can see there's a thin gray column, and you can make it wider if you have the screen space, and then you'll actually see. So I can have multiple hidden windows, you know, all the way down. And but if you know what they are, you can make it very small. So when I click on one of these, it just slides out, and I can see it, you know, do what I want with it, and then when I'm done, I can either click back up here or click anywhere else in Paratext, and it will just go away back to where it was, and you can bring it out again. Make it go away.
Could those be selected, the ones that you put out hidden to the side?
Yeah. So like I could make this one, if I right click in the title bar of any of these windows, it says move to auto hide. So if I do that, now I've got two here. And there you can see what they are. So now when I click this, it just will bring it out and put it back.
John,
Yep,
are those considered part of the layout?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's part of this. That'll save with the layout. Yeah. So also in the file open, one of the options at the bottom here was auto hide. So if you're opening something, you can just directly make it an auto hide. But you can also right click on any of these and move to auto hide. Yeah. Or also there's the option to make it a floating window. But right now this is a panel. You can change it to floating or auto hide. Or take it to a tab, obviously, by dragging it somewhere else. Okay, I mentioned the window undo option, which I've already used a couple times, and save layouts can be shared with others, as I mentioned. That's in the project menu, share saved layouts. Okay, any questions about window types? They're basically you can make any window any type. So in the past, you had like windows like biblical terms or something that popped up, or the, I don't know, whatever the other ones were, the checking windows and stuff like that. Those can all be made to whatever type you want. You can leave them as the pop-up windows, or you can, the floating windows, or you can make them panels, or you can make them auto hide, whatever, pretty much whatever you want. So it's very flexible that way. Okay, enhanced resources. So basically, there was some source text resources in Paratext 8, but they were not as enhanced as they are in Paratext 9. So we'll get an idea of what they've done with them. So first of all, to get the enhanced resources, you use the download and install enhanced resources, or download and install resources option. And the thing you want to know is type enhanced into the dialog if you want to find. So under the global menu here, I'll go to download and install resources. Okay, I'm just going to check and see what's available. I don't know what I can move. Okay. Yeah, good, it worked. I'm going to uncheck this so it'll show other languages. So basically, this is showing all the resources, okay? So if you want to just find the enhanced ones, just type the word enhanced in this dialog here. Okay, so now we can see these are enhanced resources. And you can choose the ones you want. There's NIV, ESV, and there's one. So basically, they're trying to get these enhanced resources in multiple languages. They do already have it in Portuguese. So basically, it will show the Portuguese language with and so you can click on the Portuguese word for God, let's say, or the Portuguese word for vine dresser, and it will do the same thing as if you were reading English. It'll show you the Greek or the source text and all that. So looks like they might have Spanish now also. And there's some Chinese, yeah. So they're getting them, yeah, in a lot of different languages. So another thing that we need to know, there's these three that start with IMG. This is the images and maps database for the enhanced resources. And you only need one of these because all the resources use the same images and maps database. And so you only need one. So, I mean, you may as well download the largest one. You can see that's the one I have downloaded. So you'll have a box there also. You can just check that and download that one. But you need at least one of these three if you want to use the maps and images, if you want those available. So, but you only need one. So, yes, Carlos.
I'm about to show off my ignorance. How are these resources enhanced?
We're going to get there.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'm just showing you how to get them right now.
That's actually a good question.
Well, I'll show you some of it. I'm not a guru. I'm not a normal Paratext user, but we'll get there. So this is the download and install resources. That's how you get them. Okay, so to use them, so then you need to open one of them. And we saw on the open menu, you can select, make sure the enhanced resources box is selected in blue, and then they will be available to open. So I have a couple open here, and we'll take a look at those. Okay, is there anything else? Yeah, so basically you need to download and install it and then open it. And we'll take a look at some of the features here. Right. Make sure we got everything here. Got the window on two. Okay. Okay, so in Paratext 8, let's see if I can get that to run. Okay. I probably have some of the same projects open, so let's close 9. So in Paratext 8, I could go in. So if I were to right-click, let's see. What was it? Right-click. Oh, sorry, it's down here. Yeah. So I'm looking at the source text down here in this bottom window, and so I can right-click on Grapevine or Vineyard. Let's try that. Grapevine. Try that one there. And then basically you have this option where it pulls these up, and you can have one that you like that you want to look at. So you bring that up, and so it shows you some of the source text and the definition and stuff. Sometimes there will be extra verses there, and you can click on those, but then it will actually jump your project to those other verses, and you're out from where you were, if you want to look at those other verses. And anyway, this is basically, I think, what you've got in Paratext 8. Okay, so let's take a look at 9. And one of the guys who was doing some training on this said he's never been asked to train on using those source text resources in Paratext 8. Nobody's ever asked him. Maybe they've all figured it out. Maybe the department's figured it out. But basically, in the trainings, nobody's ever asked him to train on that. So I don't. Okay, so I have two enhanced resources open here. They're in tabs. We've got the NIV and the ESV. And oops. Basically, so if I hover over one of the words like this, I get a pop-up which has the source text and the definition. So that's easy to see. And then when I click on it, I get a lot more down below. So I've got the source text, the definition, and all that. Now this number 9 right here, let me do this on a different one because it has more. Let's see which one was I using. Oh yeah, so one other thing is that the enhanced resources aren't all equal. So the ESV tends to have a little bit more words tagged. In fact, the ESV I think also has the word, if you can find it in here, like and. Let's see. Anyway, it has more words tagged than usually than the other one. Okay, let's find the word I was looking here. Okay, let's click on Gardner. Okay. You see the Greek and the definition. Okay, so you see this little 19 in parentheses? So there's 19 uses of this. And if I click on that, I get a window over here that's going to show me those 19. And so you can look and see how this word was translated in these different passages in the NIV. So here you can see farmers, tenants, gardener, farmer. Yeah, so you can get a good idea of the different translations. And then another one.
Take the cut off.
Excuse me?
Can you take the cuts off?
Cuts off.
Yeah.
Verse 2. Oh, cut off. Yeah. Okay. Now, okay, yeah, we can do it. So I was going to show a different one. See, part of my screen's cut off up there, so let me close that window. So again, you have all the same information, but there's 74 uses here. Now, also, you have this one that says show 7 more senses. You'll see this sometimes. So if I click on that, I'm going to see all the senses that are used by this source, language word. And so I can look down through there, and again, you can look by clicking on the number here. You can look and see the passage, and so basically, it's going to show you the most relevant one. So if you're only looking at one, it'll be the most relevant one for this passage. And again, I can click on this number and take a look at how it's translated in other passages. So some of them are interesting. Some of them, because of all the different senses, are translated quite differently, obviously. Okay. So you can do the same thing. Yeah. So in the ESV, you can do the same thing. You can find one, and it's got all the same features. If I let's see, what verse is that? So here, if I highlight or hover over remain, or click on it, then it'll also show me it'll highlight the other remaining words in this passage, and scroll down through and look at them. in addition to clicking on the number here, see, and this one has a total of 4 different senses. You see there. Okay. And so, yeah, each sense will have the number next to it that you can click on to see how it was used in the different passages. Okay, okay, and let me close that window. Yeah, so there's a lot you can do there. You probably just have to play around with yourself to figure out the best way that you can use it, that it's useful for you. If I open, okay, so right now I have this NNT project open. And so within an enhanced resource like this, I can go to this, let me see, what is that one? The little drop down right there. Let's see what that one is. Okay. And I can choose, I'll choose the NNT project. So I'm associating this with the NNT project now that I have open. And now there's this found and problem buttons up here. So the found ones, if I can find any, there we go. So I have Vine. So Vine is found in my biblical terms, you know, like in my translation. And basically, it'll show you down here at the very bottom the renderings that are in that project that you've used right there for Vine. And so that's kind of nice that you can see the different renderings that have been used there. And then the problem ones are basically ones that you haven't defined in your translation. And you can click the, let's see, I don't know why. Maybe I don't have permission for that translation.
John, does it work the same way with the Old Testament?
Yeah, I think so.
So that that's the people.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure why it's not letting me do this, but
John, do we have to create a word list that associates Vine with translation? Does it know where?
well, in your translation, you have your biblical terms.
Because that's where we get to.
Yeah, they're associated with the source word, right? So that's how it's getting that. Not sure why. Anyway, maybe I just don't have permission in this project. But basically, right now it's a problem one, right? So there's no renderings. So you can, well, even when there are, I think you can click on the little pencil there and just take you right to the biblical terms for that project, and you can change it or add it. Seems like that was working the other day, but I don't know why. Let's see. See if it works for the factories. Yeah, I must just not have permission or something. Yeah. So that's available there. So again, here I can see the renderings in this project that have been done for commandments. Okay. I think that's. Yeah. So again, these resources can be put on. You know, they can be converted into a floating window and moved onto a second monitor if you want more, to be able to see more. I just had them in a tab because I didn't have a lot of screen space there. So. That's all I had. So we covered the menus. Let's see, I think that was the last slide. Yeah. the menus, the window types, enhanced resources, the file open dialog. Did you guys have any other questions about anything? I'm sure once you play around with things more, you'll get a better feel for how it works, especially the enhanced resources. You know, and like the you know, you'll figure out what works for you to put in the auto hide area. But yeah, so some nice new user interface enhancements. So
And it's ready to be installed.
yeah, you can use it right now. If you just go to paratext.org, you can download Paratext 9 and use it with any of your projects that are in Paratext 8. Yeah, and
Is there any reason to keep the Paratext stage on computer?
I can't think of any. If you switch over to 9, is there any reason to stay on to have leave 8?
Your question is if there's any reason to stay on 8, keep 8 on your computer. If you're a consultant having anything on 8,
Well, only if
you can look at an 8 project in 9.
only if they're more comfortable with it.
Yeah,
That would probably be the only reason.
right.
Any project that can open in 8, you can open in 9.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're once you get comfortable with Paratext 9, there's probably no reason to leave 8 installed.
Do my coworkers have to upgrade or?
No, they can continue using 8. Yeah, and then you can tell them when they're comfortable. When you're comfortable, you can explain it to them and give them a safe layout. And
That might be a reason to stay on 8.
Oh.
If you never use it.
If they had a question for
you.
you,
If you're kind
yeah.
of like the immediate person to provide support, if your people say, how do I do such and such?
Right.
And you might, half the time when someone asks me how to do something, I get back in and go, okay. So
Like in Windows XP, how do you change the?
install
I don't
it,
remember.
but that might be a reason.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
But then once your whole team moves up, there's a bunch of reasons for the whole team to not move up.
Yeah,
If you want to eat the learning curve.
yeah. Eventually, obviously, they're putting effort into Paratext 9 now, the software. The back end is still the same, like the underlying, typing in the text and the fonts and all that. But eventually, I'm sure they're just going to cut off development of Paratext 8 eventually. We don't have a date yet, but eventually it becomes a problem to maintain 2 versions, as they get more and more different. So, yeah. But yeah, you can download it. And then there are some training videos online, mostly from SIL. I think the training videos at paratext.org are from Paratext 8. And they're more like how to use the actual software, not just the user interface, like how to add a book, how to add a user, to a project. They've got all that kind of stuff, and a lot of that's the same once you find it in the menu here. So, and then, but at Linktran, is it linktran.net or linktransoft.net, whatever that was. We have some information.
Can you click on the link?
Yeah. This page is just a text page that covers a lot of what we just covered. But I think there are some videos in here somewhere. And there are some videos floating around out there that were done at various language software training sessions. So if you need more stuff, you can ask us. We can try to find some stuff for you. The nice thing is a lot of it's similar to 8 once you are just working on a project. So, but these user interface enhancements hopefully will make it easier for some things. Any other questions? Okay.
Thanks, John. And John will be at conference for those who have more questions about Paratext at 9. So
Yeah, we'll be there somewhere. Don't know where yet.
we'll visit. All right,
So how do I stop this?
I'm going to stop.
Oh, you can stop the recording. Okay.